If you're constantly feeling tired after you have a meal, here are 3 things that you can change that don't involve actually changing what you're eating. I'm currently in training to be an Ayurvedic health advisor, and I'm going to be sharing things that I'm learning along the way because it helps me learn too. So follow along if you want to learn tips on health and wellness from an Ayurvedic perspective. Number 1, there are too many things going on in your environment when you're eating. From an Ayurvedic perspective, our Agni is our digestive fire, and it digests our food, but also everything we take in through all of our senses. So if you're eating in a loud environment, if you're eating with screens in front of you, if you're having a really intense emotional conversation, if there's really bright lights in the room, these are all things that are overwhelming your senses, overwhelming your Agni, so that it has a harder time doing its job digesting the food because it's too busy digesting everything else that it's taking in through all of your senses. And I know it's not always possible to eat in a perfectly quiet, dim environment. I have a 2-year-old. I know exactly how that is. But do your best to just quiet things down, eliminate screens, dim the lights if you can. Even if it's just for 1 meal a day, try it out, see how it makes you feel. Number 2, you're drinking too many liquids during or directly after a meal, especially if they're cold. Cold liquids, cold anything is harder for our body to digest because it takes more energy to digest them and it dilutes our digestive fire. So if you're drinking too many liquids, even if they're warm, during or directly after a meal, you're diluting that digestive juices and it makes it harder for your body to digest the food that you're eating. So again, it's using more energy to digest that food, or it's maybe not even digesting it fully. So what I've been doing is having a cup of room temperature to warm water before I eat, not having anything or having little sips during the meal and not having anything after. And it has made such a difference on my energy after I eat. And finally, this has been the biggest one for me, is chew your food. Chew your food to like liquid mush. There should be no solids getting swallowed into your stomach. Digestion begins in the mouth. We gotta let the saliva do its job so that our stomach can do its job. And if we're constantly swallowing big chunks of food, it makes it a lot harder for our stomach to do its job, and it makes us more tired because it requires that much more energy to digest. And sometimes the food doesn't even get fully digested. I have tried this with both the Ayurvedic recipes that have been recommended in this training and typical food that I would eat that isn't necessarily recommended in Ayurveda, and I'm telling you, it makes such a difference. What you eat definitely matters, but how you eat matters so much more than I originally thought.